Namandavts, 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 namandavts,
namandats, namandats,
namandavts, namandavts, namandavts.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Hidakawa, and I would like to thank you for attending this morning's combined Dharma family, July Shotsuki and Sochuki Memorial Service. We have Reverend Melissa Opal of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco as our special guest speaker today. We will begin this service with a moment of quiet sitting. Reverend Kuehara will strike the bell, and we will sit for 1 or 2 minutes to quiet our minds and prepare to hear the Dharma. Then he will strike the bell again, and we will continue with the service.
Namandavts, namandavts, namandavts. Namamidavts,
namandats,
namamidavts,
namandats,
namamidavts, namandavts, 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 namandavts.
Reverend Kuehara will now chant the Shishin Rai, which is on page 29 of the Purple Service Book, followed by the Hyobakumon dedication passage. Following the dedication, Reverend Kuehara will chant Amida Kyo, which is on page 101 of the Purple Service Book. During the chanting, the Shotsuki families are invited to come up and offer incense.
Namandavts, namandavts. 이심 개이레이 나모 쇼으치으 시심 개이레이 나모 쇼으치으 시심 개이레이 承知そう。Dedication 表白 Today, on this occasion of July Shotsuki monthly memorial service, we gather at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple to remember our family members and friends who passed away in the month of July. The end of life is inevitable for all beings. We may recognize the truth of Buddha's teaching that everything in this world is impermanent. And yet, as we grieve the parting of our dear loved ones, we find it difficult to accept this truth in our hearts. With great compassion, Amida Buddha established a vow to lead all sentient beings to the realm of nirvana upon their departure from this world, and bring about their attainment of the highest enlightenment and complete liberation from suffering in samsara. Because of this vow, they have now become enlightened ones or Buddhas who compassionately embrace and guide us on our journey to liberation from suffering. May we encounter the guidance of the Buddha and deepen our appreciation of the Buddha's compassionate benevolence. May we remember with gratitude all we have received from the deceased, and reaffirm that we continue to spiritually receive the guidance within their embrace. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, so the following people will be remembered during today's Shotsuki monthly memorial service for July. Motoharu Doi, Walter Akio Doi, Yumiko Fujii, Miyoko Fukunaga, Yasuko Umeno Goto, Hisao Hamachi, Seijiro Hamamoto, Shigeo Haraguchi, Keiji John Hiraga, Denichi Hiroka, Noe Hirofuji, Naoichi Hirofuji, Yasuyo Takano Hoki, Ayako Honda, Kawaya Imada, Masanobu Iwaihara, Inokichi Kaneko, George Katayama, Gordon Toshiro Kono, Albert Shigeru Kosakura, Helen Chisae Kurakazu, Pamela Sam Lovelace, Ishizo Matsubara, Suematsu Matsubara, Akie Matsui, Shinobu Matsuura, Asako Horimoto Maeda, Yoshiko Miyamoto, Tsuyoshi Morita, Keiji Morita, Masaru Morita, Tsuya Mukai, Pearl Toshie Nagafuji, William Juto Nagareda, Ruby Matsuko Nakano, Natsuko Nakano, Yoshiko Mae Nakao, Mieko Nehira, Leroy Nitta, Masayo Oda, Grace Oki, Hayato Okimoto, Heizo Oshima, James Pankey, Claire Prof, Hideo Bob Sasaki, Etsuko Steinmetz, Tomoe Sugawara, John Higekazu Sugahara, Masami Takano, Ayako Tanaka, Yutaro Tominaga, Hitoshi Tsufura, Larry Shigeo Tsuyuki, Setsuko Uchiumi, Tamie Umawatari, Toshio Yamasaki, Caroline Yoshiko Yoshii. So today we are going to have this monthly memorial service for those people. So now we are going to have a sutra chanting Amida Kyo, which is on page 101. So page 1 is a brief explanation of this sutra Amida Kyo, which is kind of talking about the adornments in the Purana, Amida Buddha's Purana. And then second half of the sutra praise the Buddhas in many directions, praising Amida Buddha. So you are welcome to join this sutra chanting with a loud voice, or also you can silently follow the English translation at the bottom of each page. Okay. And then during this sutra chanting, family members of the Shotsuki, please do incense offering or shoko. Amida Kyo Nyoze Gamon Ichiji Butzai Shae Kokugi Juki Kodoku On Yodai Bikushu 1250 人 海税大あらかん首相知識長老者利法マカモ県連マカカショマカカ千年マカクチラリハタシュリハンダガナンダアナンダラゴラキョボンハダビンズルハラダカルダイマカコヒンナハクラアヌルダニョゼト初代弟子病床菩薩マカサツ文殊シリ法事アイタ菩薩ケダカダイ菩薩上昇人菩薩ヨニョゼト初代菩薩牛釈大観音と無料商店大祝二次仏語長老舎利法十税裁縫家十万の区仏道右世界妙圧極楽合道右仏語阿弥陀根源在説法舎利法非道学校妙意極楽合国修上無宿単樹昇楽光明極楽舎利法極楽国道七十蘭樹七十羅も七十五十改税司法修相異尿税公被告妙圧極楽舎利法極楽国土牛ポチ白毒水十万五十身体順人根社富士四辺街道金言瑠璃針五条上右老閣薬医金言瑠璃針社交釈衆名の二言直視地中蓮華大尿車輪小式小公王式王公釈式釈公白式白公微妙高潔舎利法極楽国土上寿尿税功徳称号右舎利法非仏国土上差天学黄金二次昼夜六時二部曼荼羅家五国修上上位昇太各位英国上昇妙家供養他法十万の区仏即位直次元東本国凡直教行舎利法極楽国土上寿尿税功徳称号武士舎利法非 国上主樹奇妙雑式市長白光空弱オウムシャリ下領便が無名市長税商首長中夜六時水和芸音五音延長五根合力七宝大分八正道分行税東方合同修上門前鬼開始年仏年法年相社利発尿門市長実税財宝少々小医者が非仏国土無三幕主社利発合仏国土小無三幕土市名が教宇実税小主張改税阿弥陀仏抑量法温泉流変化少佐社利発非仏国土未風水道小法五十牛法羅網水未明音非尿百千十が同時草門前王社開示年上年仏年法年相死心社利発合仏国土上寿尿税功徳将軍社利発お如意運が非仏が古語阿弥陀社利発非仏公明無料生じ報告無償諸下税公語意阿弥陀無社利発非仏寿命牛語人民無料無変阿葬儀故公明阿弥陀社利発阿弥陀仏成仏以来王根実行無社利発非仏無料無変正門弟子海あらかん非税三十師匠の地消防殺種薬部尿税社利発非仏国土上寿尿税功徳将軍無社利発極楽国土修上少者改税阿弥バチご中他う一生不生ご主人他非税三十小の知識単価無料無変阿葬儀公設社利発修上門者応答発願願書被告小医者が特養尿税症状善人空営一生社利発不可小前後福徳因年特職被告社利発薬善難し善尿人門説阿弥陀仏修持名号脈一日脈二日脈三日脈四日脈五日脈六日脈七日一心不乱五人臨妙十字阿弥陀仏幼少修上五前財前善人修持神父天道即徳往生阿弥陀仏極楽国土社利発崖税利公摂死後脈修上門税摂者応答発願消費国土社利発尿が根者三段阿弥陀仏不可思議功徳逃亡薬阿宿美仏修味総仏大修味仏修味公仏妙音仏妙税統合が社修小仏各王合国水光上絶素返布三千大仙世界戦上実言 尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空洞一切小仏小五年行舎利法南方正解う日が当仏妙門公仏大円見仏趣味当仏無料精進仏尿税等合が社主小各王合国水耕上絶相返風三千大先生界説上実言尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五年よチャリ本裁法正解無料重物無料僧無料道大好物大名物発想物上皇物尿税等合が社小仏各王合国水工上絶相返風三千大先生界説上実言尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五年行舎利法北方正解右縁見仏最小音仏南小仏日小仏毛明仏尿税等合が社主小各王合国水工上絶相返風三千大先生界説上実言尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五年よ舎利法下法正解牛死仏妙門仏妙高仏達摩仏報道仏自法仏尿税等合が社主小各王合国水工上絶相返風三千大先生界説上実言尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五年行舎利法情報正解右盆の仏宿の仏工場仏高校仏大円見仏雑式法言神仏さら十王仏法慶特仏見一切義仏尿趣味千仏尿税等合が社主小各王合国水工上絶相返風三千大先生界説上実言尿等修上等心税小三不可思議空毒一切小仏小五年行舎利法応尿意運河学校名医一切小仏小五年行舎利法脈全難自然尿人門税小仏小説名遊行名者税小全難自然尿人会一切小仏具小五年海徳不大天皇阿のくたら三脈三宝大税公舎利法尿等海等真珠が五優勝部小説舎利法脈に異法願根法願東法願翼小阿弥陀仏国者税商人と海徳不大天皇阿のくたら三脈三宝大王妃国土脈衣装脈根性脈と税公舎利法小善男子善用人脈信者応答法願消費国土舎利法尿が根者小三小仏不可思議空毒非小仏と百小説が不可思議空毒二差前言釈迦牟尼仏の偉人な 慶右子寺のシャバ国土豪辱悪世公辱賢辱煩悩辱衆生辱明辱中徳阿のくたら三脈三宝大異小衆生先税一切政権南進司法シャリホン統治がお豪辱悪世行師南寺徳阿のくたら三脈三宝大一切政権摂氏南進司法税人南仏摂氏教医シャリホ優勝ビク一切政権天人アシュラと文部諸説寛義真珠さらいにこ仏説阿弥陀経アマンダブアマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがんにしくどく平等性一切道法菩提心往生安楽ナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツ
Please rise if you are able to follow along with the Gatha Nembutsu, which is on the handout. Please remain standing for the reading of the Golden Chain 2.
This is from the Nembutsu excerpt from Shoshin there, so I hope you recognize the melody, and we'll sing it twice.
I will now recite the Golden Chain 2 on page 15 of the Purple Service Book. Please feel free to follow along. Golden Chain 2. I am linked in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now, happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Namo
Amida
Amida
Butsu.
Butsu.
Namo
Namo
Amida
Amida Butsu.
Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
You may now be seated. We will now have a Dharma message by Reverend Melissa Opal.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending today's service. We are so fortunate to have a guest speaker today, Melissa Opel Sensei. Because she's a minister of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco in Bay Area. So some of you are familiar with Melissa Sensei. So Sensei was originally from Kent, Washington. And she started going to Spokane Buddhist Church, Buddhist Temple, Spokane Buddhist Temple. And then became a minister's assistant, and then received the Tokudo ordination 2019. And then 3 years later, 2022, Melissa Sensei went to Kyoto, received a Kyoshi certificate, the next level of certification. And then Sensei came to the Bay Area, started serving the Buddhist Church of San Francisco from 2023. And then today we have Becca-san too. Thank you, Becca, for coming with Melissa Sensei. Yep. So I hope, and then also today, July monthly memorial service also must mention the Bishop's Memorial Service. So once a year at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple, we have a special memorial service to remember and then show our appreciation to the past bishops. So our organization, this Berkeley Buddhist Temple, belongs to Buddhist Churches of America, which is a Jodo Shinshu organization in the mainland U.S. And then under this big umbrella of BCA, there are 60 temples on the mainland U.S. And then we have about 10,000 members. It's a relatively big religious organization. And then, of course, we need a leader. So as an organization, we have a president. And then right now, Steve Terusaki, member of Oakland Temple. And then, of course, ministerial leader is a bishop. We call bishop. And then currently, Bishop Marvin Harada taking his leadership to provide guidance to our organization. And then, of course, in the past, do you know when BCA started? 1899. Yeah, 1899. Our organization BCA started 1899. So we have a history over 100 years. And then we have many bishops. Before Harada Sensei, Umezu Sensei, Bishop Umezu was a bishop. And then Ogui Sensei, Yamaoka Sensei. So many leaders provided guidance, spiritual guidance to us so that we can enjoy the Dharma. So once a year, we have a special service to show our appreciation, gratitude to former bishops. So today is a kind of combined Dharma service. And then so fortunate to have Melissa Sensei. よろしくお願いします。Thank you, Sensei.
There's going to be a quiz at the end, so just kidding. Could you imagine? I can, actually. Yeah, that was preparing for Tokudo. Everything was a quiz after, and so you get used to it. All right, please join me in Gassho. Listen to the voice of the Dharma. Listen to the birds singing in the morning, the wind sighing in the boughs overhead, and the roar of the waves on the beach. Listen to the rain on the roof and the snow falling in the fields. The Dharma speaks to us through the sounds of the world, forcefully and eloquently and beautifully. It speaks of the unending change around us, the immutable truth of interdependence, and the peace in nature. Do we have ears to hear and listen? Listen to the Nembutsu in the Hondo. Listen to the noble silence of the Buddha. Namo Mirabutsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Mirabutsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Mirabutsu.
Namo
Namo
Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Well, good morning.
Morning, Sensei.
Yeah, you guys are chipper. This is service would just be starting just a few minutes ago for us, so I had to get up a little earlier than usual. But you guys are worth it. So, thank you so much for having me. A special thank you to Reverend Kuwahara. It's a little nerve-wracking. To have him sitting right here while I'm giving you a dark... No, it's okay. We can be close. We can be close. It's just more of, Reverend Kuwahara has been my teacher, my mentor. He helped me through Tokudo and Kyoshi. He got my desperate phone call of, I cannot memorize. I don't think I can do this. And his gentle words of, well, doctors have to pass their tests too. But he was such a support system and has been. I'm so fortunate and lucky to be able to serve in the same district as him. I do have a funny story to tell. I hope it's okay and appropriate. So when we had our Tokudo, Sensei came with to keep us in line and watch over us, translate, and really just kind of, I think, in some ways, bring that comfort of home with us too. He was such a rock and. I appreciate him a lot, if you can't tell. So Tokudo had ended, and one of our classmates decided we should all do a karaoke room and rented one. And what was fun and interesting, I don't know if this is true of all karaoke in Japan, but once you rented the room, the alcohol came with it for free. There was no extra payment. So you had there was several of us very uptight. we've been kind of through this very pressure sort of time. No cell phones, no outside contact. We just kind of only had each other and very focused throughout. And so it was our first opportunity to let loose, which was a bad idea. So we carried on singing, and there was some drinking. Singing, drinking. And we thought we were done, and Kuwahara Sensei had snuck out and bought us another hour of karaoke. And at this point in time, all the women had left. I was the only female left in the group. And we were still, I take pride in being able to hold my liquor well. And I kept looking over at Sensei, and he did not seem intoxicated at all. We kept giving him drinks. And I snuck a peek, and I saw him kind of go like this, and then go like this, into the plant next to him. And so he was responsible then for taking the rest of us back to the hotel. And we were not in the best of shape. But I think this, speaks to his thoughtfulness, his compassion of allowing us to kind of cut loose, but keeping us safe. And I think that is something that really encompasses him as a human being. And so I think we should all be very thankful to know him, and I'm so glad that you have him here to serve the Berkeley Temple. So today, we are observing the Bishop's Memorial Service along with your Shotsuki Hoyo. And this service allows us to stop and pay gratitude to our past bishops and the impacts they've had on our organization and our life as Nembutsu practitioners. For me, being a convert to Jodo Shinshu, I knew Reverend Ogui, but I think he was already done being bishop by the time I was kind of interacting with Jodo Shinshu. He was a part-time minister at White River. So Mezu Sensei was really like my first bishop. So the bishop's memorial service is an opportunity for me to kind of dig into past bishops and get to know them and the impacts that they've had from kind of a outside perspective. And so I've learned, through that the bishop is really more than just a figurehead. They're one who steers our religious ship here in the United States. They have a vision. And they wear many hats, many of which nobody wants to wear. They do everything from assigning ministers, they communicate with our mother temple, they deal with conflict resolution, all sorts of types of conflict resolution. They help steer the ship of education. And most importantly, they have the vision for the propagation of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism in America. We want to help support them in that vision. And they, of course, do so much more than this, but their vision and the ability to have others join them in that vision is really very important. And so this morning's opening quote, or Gosandai, comes from the former bishop, Reverend Kenryo Suji. And it's from his book, The Heart of the Buddha Dharma, which if you've not read it, I really recommend it. It's such a beautiful book. It's thin in terms of pages, but so dense in terms of knowledge and understanding. And Reverend Suji served as bishop for the BCA from 1968 to 1981. He did 13 years as bishop. Of course, now we have term limits, so 8 years is the limit. I don't want to know why the term limits went into place. But the funny thing is, he didn't even have the longest term limit. I think Reverend Yamaoka actually beat him by several years in how many years he served as bishop. And his words remind us to listen deeply, not just with our ears, but with hearts open to receive the Dharma that surrounds us in every moment. As I reflect on Bishop Suji's life and legacy, I'm struck by how his commitment to the Dharma created ripples that continue to touch our lives today. So he was born in 1919 in Mission City, British Columbia, and his path was marked by both tremendous challenges and unwavering dedication to the Nembutsu way. His journey took him from his family's berry farm all the way to Kyoto for studies at Ryokoku University, where he was recognized for his gift of translation. But when the war was threatening, he returned to Canada on what happened to be the last passenger ship, only to find himself shortly after interned at Slocan in British Columbia. Even there in incarceration, serving as both the elementary school principal and Buddhist minister, he continued his daily practice of bringing the Dharma to others. It was in that camp where he met his future wife and where the seeds of his lifelong ministry took deeper root. After the war, he learned that his family's farm was confiscated and sold, and so Reverend Suji built his life in Toronto, washing dishes, working on a mushroom farm, all while ministering to a small but growing Sangha. And that small group would eventually become what is now known as the Toronto Buddhist Church. He went on to found 2 more temples in Canada before accepting the position of director for the Bureau of Buddhist Education for the BCA in 1958. And so what strikes me about Reverend Suji's life is not just his remarkable accomplishments, but how his daily practice of listening to the Dharma sustained him through every challenge and transition. Whether washing dishes or writing curriculum, whether facing internment or founding temples, he maintained what one of his daughters described as a life guided by intelligence, integrity, and initiative, the 3 I's. And he taught these to his own children. And one of the stories is that Liz would kind of roll her eyes when he would start lecturing about the 3 I's, but it was still something that they lived their life by. And this brings me something to what I've been reflecting on, what it means to make the Buddha Dharma truly present in our daily lives. How do we continue to grow in the Nembutsu and have it on the tips of our tongue, guiding us? Of course, the Nembutsu is always available to us, but our awareness to it can come and go. Reverend Suji understood something profound that we can learn from, that our daily practice is not about self-improvement, but about creating space to recognize what's already being manifested through Amida's vow power. Many of our Issei and Nisei maintain daily rituals in front of their Obutsudan, just as Reverend Suji surely did throughout his life. Each morning, they would offer incense and say the Nembutsu, and these weren't practices done to achieve enlightenment through their own power. Instead, they were moments when Amida Buddha's vow manifested itself through their voices. Each recitation of Namo Amida Butsu was not their own practice, but rather Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion and power expressing itself through them. But nonetheless, there was a choice being made to start the day, listening deeply to the teachings and bringing it forward as an anchor to remain grounded in gratitude for the wisdom and compassion that holds and sustains us. And so sometimes we can get a little hung up on what practice is in our tradition, wanting to avoid being calculated or manufacturing our entrusting. But on the other hand, if we are not engaging, we're also not making space for the Nembutsu to arise. This last week, Bridge Sensei and I were chatting, and I was talking to him about getting our Buddhist education program off the ground at BCSF. So before I came to BCSF, Reverend Kobata had retired, so there was like 3 years with no minister. And then, obviously COVID was also happening. So things that had been done in the past kind of went away and weren't resurrected. So getting our Buddhist education going again is of kind of paramount to us, and we're working on that. And he asked me if I thought I would be able to use any of the material from my many classes at IBS, which Reverend Kuwahara was one of my teachers, and he gives the best handouts. I think I have all of them. It's like baseball cards, you got to collect them all. And it was such a simple question that Bridge Sensei asked me, but it was like a light bulb went off in my brain, and I remembered all of the papers and materials I've been collecting since starting this journey to ministry. And I was like, I wonder if I still have access to Reverend Miyagi's lectures that he gave us for our Kyogyo Shinsho class, and because it's just a treasure trove of wonderful things that I don't need to reinvent. I just need to teach what I've been taught, because I've been taught so well by so many wonderful people. And in my home, I have so much information and educational materials, and I had that moment of awareness where if I do nothing to keep this on my mind, like write myself a sticky note or some other means to remember, I'm going to forget again that I have all of this wonderful stuff that I can pull from. And instead, I'll be trying to start from ground zero when I don't need to. And you can only put so many sticky notes up, by the way. They start to not work. But in this way, it's a little like the layers we have in our tradition. If I do nothing, the Nembutsu is there, but I do not know it. If I come to service on Sunday, I'm reminded of the Nembutsu. Maybe I remember to write myself a sticky note, so to say, and I get some practice in of reciting the name. But if I do something each day to call my attention to the Nembutsu, I'm with it every day. I don't need a sticky note. It becomes ingrained. And so Reverend Suji wrote, the Nembutsu is the complete identification of myself with the transcendent power of wisdom and compassion from which I derive my meaning for existence. The Nembutsu is this center of my being, the spiritual home from which I operate, and where I find the spiritual power to carry out all my morally, social, and religious commitments. This was not mere philosophy for Bishop Suji. It was the lived reality that enabled him to serve for 57 years. Through war and displacement, through the challenges of building temples and educating ministers, through the daily work of administration, and the profound responsibility of guiding our Sangha as bishop. When we think about honoring Reverend Suji's legacy, we might ask, how do we continue his work of Dharma propagation? How do we support our current bishop, Reverend Harada, and ministers in their efforts to share the Nembutsu teaching? The answer, I believe, lies in understanding that we are all both teachers and students in the Dharma. As Tao Cho wrote, the person who teaches the Dharma should think of themselves as king among physicians and of their work as the elimination of pain. They should think of the Dharma that they teach as sweet nectar. The person who listens to the Dharma should think that excellent understanding thereby increases and grows, and that their sickness is being cured. Such a teacher and listener together can make the Buddha Dharma flourish. And we all have the opportunity to support our bishop in the propagation of Jodo Shinshu teachings, not just by supporting their endeavors, but by engaging our own daily practice with the same dedication that Bishop Tsuji showed throughout his life. Every time we create space in our daily routine to recognize Amida's working, every time we share the Dharma with family or friends, every time we allow the Nembutsu to arise naturally from our hearts, we're participating in the great work of Dharma propagation. This doesn't require us to be ministers or hold official positions. Reverend Tsuji himself said at Okoji Temple, a temple that he founded in Virginia, that there should be no distinction between monk and layperson. He envisioned a community where we will all be priests disguised as workers, homemakers, he said fathers, you could say mothers, and yes, even children. Our daily practice, whether it's a moment of gratitude before a meal, a pause to notice our impatience in traffic and hear the Nembutsu arise naturally, or gathering before the family Obutsudan each morning, creates sacred space within our homes and hearts. These moments make the Dharma part of everyday life and prepare us to be conduits through which Amida's compassion can work in the world. When we maintain such practice, we're not trying to make ourselves better Buddhists. Rather, we're creating space to recognize what's already being manifested through Amida's vow. We're receiving medicine for our suffering, drinking sweet nectar that has already been prepared for us. Our practice isn't about becoming something different. It's about becoming aware of what already is. In this way, each of us becomes both teacher and student, both supporter and leader in the Dharma. We support our bishops, not just through donations or volunteering, but by living the Nembutsu way so fully that our others are drawn to ask with the peace they see in us. We become leaders not by seeking positions of authority, but by allowing Amida's wisdom and compassion to manifest through our daily lives. Bishop Tsuji's daughter Liz wrote about her father's many selfless gifts. She was one of 5 children, by the way, all girls, and noted that what we do in turn to give to others keeps his legacy alive. This is how the Dharma propagates through the countless daily acts of compassion, wisdom, and gratitude that arise when we live with the Nembutsu as our center. As we remember Bishop Tsuji today and all of our bishops who have led us, let us also commit to the daily practice of listening to the voice of the Dharma in the morning birds, in the wind, in the rain, and most importantly, in the Nembutsu arising from our own hearts. Let us create small spaces in our daily routine where we can recognize the great compassion that is already working in our lives. Perhaps it starts with just a minute each morning in front of a space we designate for the Dharma, sitting quietly, thinking on what we feel gratitude for, and reciting the Nembutsu. If we're able, we can offer incense, letting its fragrance remind us of our connection to the temple, to our tradition, and to all those who have walked this path before us. Like Bishop Tsuji, whose life was enveloped by the Dharma and the Nembutsu, we too can make space for this sacred practice to permeate our hearts and minds. In doing so, we honor not only his memory, but continue his great work of making the Buddha Dharma flourish in our time and place. And I can guarantee you that every bishop and minister that came before and will come after, that our greatest heart's wish is for the Nembutsu to be heard and felt by all. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to hear the Dharma anew, whether we're offering incense, saying the Nembutsu, or simply pausing to recognize our own diluted passions. We're creating space to recognize what's already there. Amida's infinite wisdom and compassion working constantly in our lives. This is how we become partners with our bishop, with our ministers, and with each other in the great work of Dharma propagation, not through our own power, but by gratefully receiving what is already being offered and allowing it to manifest through our daily lives. May we use today not only to express gratitude to Bishop Suji and all our teachers, but to recommit ourselves to the daily practice of listening. Listening with ears that can hear the Dharma in every moment, and hearts ready to respond with the Nembutsu. As Tao reminds us, when we engage the Dharma in this way as both teacher and student, giver and receiver, we dwell always in the presence of the Buddha. Please join me in Gassho. Listen to the voice of the Dharma. Listen to the birds singing in the morning, the wind sighing in the boughs overhead, and the roar of the waves on the beach. Listen to the rain on the roof and the snow falling in the fields. The Dharma speaks to us through the sounds of the world, forcefully and eloquently and beautifully. It speaks of the unending change around us, the immutable truth of interdependence, and the peace in nature. Do we have ears to hear and listen? Listen to the Nembutsu in the Hondo. Listen to the noble silence of the Buddha. Namo Mirabutsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Mirabutsu.
Namo Amida.
Namo Mirabutsu.
Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida.
So these papers do have a purpose, not a quiz. So I don't want to talk about practice and then not give tools. And so these are just some ways that I've written up of finding ways to incorporate the Dharma into everyday life. By no means is it complete. This is just some of my ideas, ideas I've heard from other people who are smarter than me. And there's room in here for you to make up your own and add them to the sheet. This might be the giant sticky note that we all need. So I'll leave these, I'll have these after service for anybody who wants to grab them. I'll maybe take them to the social hall. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Opal, for your wonderful Dharma message. Please rise if you're able to follow along with the Gatha, Ondoku-san 2, which is on page 220 of the Purple Service Book. You may now be seated. Now we would like to welcome the following guests today. As I call your name, if you would like to stand or wave. A family from Orange County Buddhist Church, Catherine, Ron, Travis, and Ann. Malachi from the Oakland Buddhist Church. And Juan. Thank you. We'll now read the announcements that have been submitted. the online meditation and discussion, Wednesday, July 2nd at 7 o'clock. Sign-up link is on our website. There will also be no Sunday service next Sunday, July 6th. Instead, please join us for Meeting the Moment, Building Refuges in Response to State Violence event that begins at 11 a.m. at the temple next Sunday, the 6th. This is an intergenerational conversation with movement elders as we hold space for practicing Sangha by embodying refuge and standing in solidarity with the many communities under attack by state violence in the past, present, and future. RSVP required. Please see the flyer in the social hall for our weekly email for more information. The Bonodori, Saturday, July 12th from 6:30 to 8 at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple. Practice sessions are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30 to 9, July 1st, 3rd, 8th, and 10th at BBT. And everybody's welcome to join. Lastly, Ohaka Mayari Cemetery Visitation. Sunday, July 13th, after the service, we will visit the Sunset View Mortuary in El Cerrito, then the Chapel of the Chime in Oakland. If you would like to join Reverend Kuahara for this year's cemetery visitation, please contact the temple office. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'd like to say thank you to all those who have today's service, made today's service possible. First, I'd like to give my huge gratitude. Thank you to Melissa Sensei for giving a wonderful Dharma message. ありがとうございました。So we have a book, Crossing Over to Jodo Shinshu. And then, so it's a collection of articles who came to Jodo Shinshu from different religious faiths. But there is a sample, copy in the social hall. And then I will bring some, extra copies afterwards to the social hall. So if you're interested in, that book, please pick and take home. And then, of course, you can talk to Melissa Sensei about her experience crossing, over to, Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. 本当ありがとうございました。Thank you, Sensei. I still remember the karaoke night. It's a really dense, very strict 11-day ordination. And then after that, I'm sure, people really enjoy relax after the, training. So that is a very fun night. I still have pictures in my cell phone. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's a right reaction. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. 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 And then also, I'd like to say thank you to Suzanne for being a wonderful chairperson. Yeah, I think we will contact you again. Another Sunday, for another Sunday. ありがとうございました. You did a great job. Thank you very much. And then I'd like to say thank you to the live streaming, team in the behind the scene to broadcast today's service to the world. ありがとうございました. Thank you very much. And then thank you, Emiko-san, for playing a beautiful piano. ありがとうございました. Yeah, I like the Nembutsu one. なんかいいね. So beautiful. Yeah. ありがとうございました。And then thank you the June Toban, monthly group to prepare the refreshment after the service. ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. And I think also the June and then July Toban are also helping the Obon practice. So as announced, we have a Obon dance on July 12th. And then it's really difficult to, dance. So that's why it's nice to have a practice before the day of event. So we have 5 practice sessions. And then last Thursday, we had a first one. So surprisingly, we had 80 people came. So actually, too much for the, to accommodate so many people in the social hall for practice. Anyway, so Tuesday, Thursday, basically the practice days. So if you are interested in learning the Obon dance, please come. and then you don't have to feel embarrassed the day we event. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to dance, it's really kind of, feeling embarrassed. Yeah. But anyway, and then also, I think that's it. Yeah. But anyway, thank you very much for attending today's service. This concludes the service today. ありがとうございました。